everybody? Mr. Marks, sorry, it just blew my mind, head of resident council, wanted to share a few words in regards to Vicki Stein, and so he has the podium this morning. Mr. Marks.
Thank you, Joe. You had a great event yesterday, and we learned that JKV management doesn't work unless Vicki tells them to work, and she tells them what to do or when to do it, and they are quite good at obeying her orders. And we just want to, as the residents, let you know that the love flows both ways. The residents are very, very appreciative of all that you do, and you do as much for the residents as you do for the management. And we want another at least 15 years from you. And I'm sure management would second that for sure. And I've been told that you'll be seeing this, Vicki, so we love you and thank you for a great 40 years.
Thank you. Well, that takes care of that, does it? Now, come on, after 40 years, I am just absolutely amazed. 40 years ago, I am just absolutely blown away. And Mr. Marks is right. We all do what she tells us to do when she tells us to do it. And my response to that is, do I look stupid? All right. We are trying some new things, and I'm thrilled that you came in to spend this with us. We're trying some new things. Our directors became VPs. Expectation went up. So there's going to be a lot of different colored slides. It may be difficult for you to read. Please, politely tell me that. We're trying some new things. I've tried to go through this, and I tried to make things bigger. I've tried to put them on darker background colors on dark backgrounds, and then if it's a light background, make it a darker color so you can see it. I've tried to make nothing in here is less than a 12 font, and if you can't read it, well, I'll read it to you. However, we also wanted to make sure that this is, if you go and review this, if you go to Cubigo and review this, that you get an opportunity to see the slides and you can review them yourself. I'm not going to cover all the information on this slide because there is just way too much. But I've asked the VPs to kind of open a little bit and share a little bit more. And you'll see that through HR. HR has done a really nice job of sharing some information as well as some of the other ones. Now, do they always share this with you and resident council? No, because Vicki tells them not to. I'm teasing. See how I set that up? So it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be, instead of a plain white slide, it's kind of meant to torment your eye a little bit and your vision to kind of help you move around a little bit and not so vanilla, so to speak. That being said, let's roll. All right, first slide, Village Alert. Valerie and Valentine went away. What we decided to do is just put it into a different slide. If you have things that you want us to share at the chat, it's jkvlive@johnknox.com. You can call at 386-456-1558, or you can text at 386-507-4236. Typically, many of you go ahead and you send messages, and Shannon gets them, or Joy gets them. They share them with me, so I can include them in my presentation. So that is the reason for the Village Alert Line. Community wellness, urgent alerts, etc. And it's an if you're new, that is just the way we automatically communicate with you. So don't opt out, specifically now. We're coming into the month of May, and everybody knows what the month of May is, right? And then everybody knows who does the coffee with in the month of May, right? Mark does, yeah. Hurricane awareness. So here's some important reminders, just some fun stuff. These have come directly from Vicki. I'm gonna kind of leverage this a little bit. Out of village cards, even if there's only one of you that is not going to go out of the village and one of you is staying home, we want you to fill out a card so we know that the other one person is out and one person is staying. That way, as it triggers the automatic sensors, we know we can expect somebody, and if we don't, then we know where everybody is. We're not tracking you, we're not tracing you, we just want to know. So please fill out a card. Make sure, we want to make sure that we're accountable for whereabouts. If your family is calling us and wondering where you're at, we can always tell them. And please indicate clearly on the card who's remaining in the residence and who's going, so we can respond appropriately. I'm sorry? Yes. If you haven't had enough, I do my own taxes. Anybody do their own taxes and try to go online? Yeah. I tried to go online over the last couple of days to do some taxes, and one time it took me over an hour to get into a particular site. That's on me because I should have probably done them earlier, but it's really weird. We've gotten reports that there are fake notices, collection notices from Florida Power and Light. What's the catch on this? You don't have Florida Power and Light, you have Duke Energy. So, if you do, and what's the other part of that? You don't get a power bill. So, ignore it. Just let us know if you receive it. If that does indeed happen, share it with us. You can share it with resident services. They will pass it on to us. But you receive a postal service letter demanding payment. Ignore it. Just let us know. Throw it away. Misleading postcards that are not from Medicare. The people from Medicare Advantage are getting real aggressive. And they kind of have a captured audience. You. So they're going to try to push very, very hard. So if there's an advertisement, their advertisement is designated to generate leads, just like all other advertisements. This is marketing. It is not Medicare. They're going to try to use urgency-based language. The same thing if somebody calls you and gets you on the phone. When you answer the phone and they say, "Hey, is this John Smith?" What don't you say? You don't ever say yes. Exactly. Don't ever say yes, because that's when you hear a dial tone, and now they're going to go use your name and say that you're John Smith, and they can replay that yes through AI, and it all works well for them. So please be careful about that. These scams are not affiliated with Medicare, and if you don't have, the camera can't see you, so just by a show of hands, how many of you manage your Medicare online? Raise your hands up there. I want for the people that don't, you might want to consider that, because you can get your notifications from Medicare and Social Security, and you log into the account to get that information. We're happy to show you how to do that and how to set up an account. Now, some of you are going to say, "Joe, I don't care. I'm good." And I'm good with that. But if we can stop just one person from being scammed because somebody got access to the Medicare, the whole project will be worth it. One person. So please consider that. If you're interested, please fill that, send a little notice, send an email, and we'll see what we can do. Repair services on personal property. We talked about this a little bit at resident council. This is your personal property. If your refrigerator, your stove, washer, dryer, all goes, that's on us. We take care of that. But we'll say you have a laptop or you have a computer that's kind of acting up. We have approved vendors for that, and we're going to send out a list on certain things. The other one is we have somebody who's approved to do vehicles. I think it's Buffmaster will come wash and wax your vehicle. we kind of do a credentialing package on those people to make sure they're safe for you. Now, in any particular case, Buffmaster should never be in your house. Certain vendors should never be in your house. And if you ever have a problem with them, we want to know that. We try to put together a nice little list of people that are kind of approved, that have gone through the process. So you don't get some John Smith who comes in, and before you know it, you're missing jewelry, you're missing all kinds of other stuff. So this is only to protect you. Can you ask somebody to come in and do a service for you on your computer or your laptop? Absolutely. What would we ask you to do? Please reach out to the Gatehouse and let them know they're coming in. If you like them, please let us know. Because maybe there are other residents, somewhere around 650 others that might be able to use that same service. We good? This is not meant to restrict you bringing people in to get work done you want. This is to help us build a list of people that have had good ratings, just like a Google rating or a Yelp rating or other ratings for your benefit. Name tags, just wear them. We have a lot of residents. Pacemakers should not wear magnetic name tags. Please ask for a non-magnetic option. I know we've had discussions. Some people say it does. Some people says it doesn't. We don't care. Just ask for a non-magnetic option, and we're happy to provide it to you. But we're going to ask because we have a lot of people, and in fact, I've caught some of you in the hallway just this week, and first thing you do is, oh, I forgot my name badge. I understand that, but maybe not everybody knows you, and it gives you an opportunity to make some new friends. Guests, visitors, this whole thing. Yes, we have caught some of you going into units that are being renovated. Not cool. It only takes you to step over something that you didn't raise your foot far enough, and you take a header into other stuff that's laying there. And it could be wood that's turned up and has nails in it. Please don't. Please don't. If you want to go look at a unit, contact marketing. We will make arrangements for you to go in there, and we will clean it up so you don't have to step over that stuff. It's for your safety. I hear all kinds of crazy things about people going in and all I did was try to step over that. We had somebody fall at Oak Park because they said that the asphalt, when we put it down, didn't come up to the same height. Well, how would you know that if you raised your foot high enough to clear the sidewalk? Please. I know people are creatures of habit. Please make sure you don't go into units. If you want to look at something, let us know. We're happy to kind of set you up to do that. Now, why am I going to bang on this? And why am I going to bang on this hard for the next 2 years? I know some of you are going to want to sneak over on that 10 acres, and you're going to want to look at those new villas going in, and you're going to want to say, hey, I want to know what those look like. I want to walk through them. I understand you do. I love new construction. Love new construction. I've been blessed where I've had an opportunity to build 5 houses. I love it. However, I can even fall victim to that if you're not careful. So, please. Occupancy, 483 out of 520 for 92.7. The thing you're going to say, Joe, occupancy has gone down. Well, it has. Some of your neighbors are moving levels of care, and we have had greater turnover than we had in the previous years. It is bound to happen. We have been blessed over the last few years where we didn't have the amount of turnover in independent living units that we expected. And what would we normally expect in turnover? Somewhere between 45 and 55 on an annual basis. Yes. Think about that. That's only 10% of the units. That's only 10% of the units. So, but you'll also notice as soon as those units come available, sales is selling them. So there are 13 deposits, and I threw that 95.4 up there. So if those units were already renovated and ready to go, and those people were able to move in, that is what our occupancy would be. And then it just shows you the deposits. Like in cottages, we have 8 deposits. Apartments, we still have 2. Villas, 3. We would have expected this as a transition. We wanted to make sure, and I think I shared this with you last month, we wanted to make sure that Oak Haven was up to par for yourselves. There are some of you that can use it, and we've identified, I think, as many as 14 residents that could benefit from that. So you just throw 14 on that number of 38, and that's a far more respectable number. That said, we're going to do it over time. We don't just want to take 14 people and move them in. We want to take our time to be able to do that, and we want to transition people slowly. We've got a lot of things done. We're going to show you that here. So we're now ready to move at a little bit quicker pace. And Majestic Oaks continues to march on with occupancy. Sales and marketing, occupancy 93.8. This is, as you know, these are where I geek out. I'm not going to go through all this stuff with you. March sales were 9, and March move-ins were 3. Year-to-date sales is 15. Year-to-date move-ins is 7. This is just email blasts from the Fresh Air Fair and other things. Mimosa Monday. Maybe I need to start showing up on Mondays earlier. We exceed our targets for blog posts of 905, and the content for March was to be driven by answers to practical questions for future residents were asking. So looking ahead, Shannon takes care of all that. She's the one who gets to geek out on that in regards to making sure our marketing plan focuses where it needs to be, and we continue to have people that build our wait list. And then the social media, and you'll see the Boyers on the left there. And that's Mrs. Summers, isn't it? All right, some of the fun stuff. You all know about the audit, right? Who doesn't know about our audit? Now, I can tell you for the entire time I've been here, and I think Mr. Rudolph can tell you that even before that, we've had clean audits almost nonstop. So the fact that we have 0 adjustments, 0 internal control issues, and 0 material weaknesses, we're thrilled about that. And I do know that it was presented to the board, and the board did accept the audit. So and we have our management letter issued, and we're good. PCC. Anybody know what PCC stands for? PCC stands for Point Click Care. It is the electronic medical record that we use throughout our community. It's in independent living, it's in assisted livings, and it's in skilled nursing. The reason I share that with you, and it's important, because we start in independent living and we put a chart together for you. So as you change levels of care, as your needs change, that file goes with you. As you go to Majestic Oaks for rehab, they use that chart, and then when you return back to independent living, that chart is just an active chart. So when you hear us say PCC, we're referring to our software for our medical records. We had to change, as we took on the transition of Oak Haven, we had to make sure that our medical record matched. Fortunately, they used the same company, but it took them 3 months to migrate the database. I'm sorry, did that look disappointing? But it's done. So we went live on 3/13, And then what that also does is we use that as our billing cycle, our billing software for healthcare. And so now we can issue statements. We don't have to have them issue our statements for us. We can do our own. So we're thrilled about that. It was executed on time, and we're moving well. OIR, you've probably heard this before. Remember, we got through a 9-year triennial audit. Is that a triennial audit kind of thing? They finished that in 21, then they came back and decided to do 22, 23, 24 on us, and sent us, there were 6 findings. They had 6 draft findings. We were able to mitigate 5 of those, and we ended up 1 that we have to remediate. Now, this has been better than 45 days we've had that call, maybe 60 days we've had that call. We still are waiting on our final exam, our final letter. Now, is that good or is it bad? Come on. It's good. You should all jump up and say, Joe, that's really good. No, it is really good. It is really good. We're thrilled about that. Obviously, we're governed by OIR, Office of Insurance Regulation in the state of Florida. If this comes as a surprise to you, you didn't read your contract really, of course, we are actually an insurance product. You sign an agreement, and we guarantee we're going to take care of you for the rest of your life, regardless of your ability to pay, as long as your ability to pay isn't due to any fault of your own. That's the caveat. That's the talking point for that. So if you run out of money and it wasn't really it's not your fault, it's all good. We're going to make sure that we take care of you. You've all heard me say that and tell you that story before too, right? I'm going to take a little bit of time to share it with you, this because I think it's a cool story. And I've even had people do it. A widow moves into a community like John Knox Village at the age of 80. Age of 80. How much longer would you have expected her to live? 10, maybe 15 years, right? At the age of 80. She paid her entrance fee, came in. She lived another 33 years. Now, I'm going to say it was a bad deal for us. I'm kidding. But that's the beauty about it. You're all here because you understand one thing. And the thing you understand is you don't know what your future healthcare costs are going to be. And that's the agreement. I've also, and I was the one who signed the contract on this one, I had a resident sign a contract, move in, and it happened to be right after that, the bottom fell out of the real estate market. All her monies were tied in real estate. She came to me and she said, and this is my story, I was the one there. She came to me and she said, Joe, I need to move out. I can't afford the monthly service fee. Why would you need to move out? You signed a contract, right? Yeah. I signed the contract, right? Yeah. That's the beauty of the contract. It doesn't make any difference if it's 4 years or if it's 33 years. You signed a contract. That is our commitment to you to make sure you're taken care of. No one knows exactly how much their future health care costs are going to be. And that's the beauty of communities like John Knox Village. You don't have to worry about some pretty good success doing on-campus job fairs. So we continue. We use the multi-purpose room at the Jack West Clubhouse to do that. Many of the department leaders, even VPs, will go ahead and participate in that. If you're wondering how many employees we currently have 638, 414 full-time, 224 part-time. Then it breaks it down, so almost 65% of our workforce is full-time. And you could guess where those people work, right? 52% of our workforce are between Majestic Oaks and Dining Services. Oak Haven has 53, Oakview Suites 42, Home Health 44. Now, one of the things that's built into Home Health is we one of the things that we started doing is creating a staffing pool. Occasionally you have people that call off. It happens. It even happens to us. They call off or they need more assistance. So what we've created is a staffing pool of PCAs, and I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself because there's a slide in here to discuss it. PCA, personal care assistants, that we use in home health that we can also use in assisted living. So those people can transition over there should they have call-offs to make sure our staffing levels remain constant. But what we're also doing is we're creating an educational system where we change those PCAs into CNAs, certified nursing assistants, to be able to use them at Majestic Oaks. I heard somebody, I won't mention their name, they'll know this because they were there when they told me. The company they worked for never hired from outside the organization. They always hired from within the organization and promoted from within the organization. We like that philosophy. While that's not always possible for us, I always refer to it as us growing our own talent. And it makes sense because people who get our culture and people who decide to stay, Vicki Stein staying 40 years, those are the people that are invaluable and absolutely priceless to the organization. We would love to get somebody as a CNA and have them move through the system and eventually become the chief administrative officer. We would love that. You would love that because that means that that person understands the culture that we've created. And our culture is unique compared to other communities. And other communities are going to tell you the very same thing. And you get a bigger company that comes in that takes over an organization like ours, first thing they're going to change is the culture. So, and I'm going to show you that when I show you this number. Our current annualized turnover is 9.14%. Yeah, it's not a typo. 9.14%. We have a current retention rate of almost 91%. It's pretty good. I'm going to say it's pretty good. All right, I'm thrilled with it. You might just be happy, but I'm thrilled with it. 638 employees, and we have 59 terminations. It happens. On accident, you're going to turn over 9.14%. So there it is a different, the quality of care, strength of our culture, and mission alignment is what we look for. This is a survey that we did between March 7th and March 15th, actually HR did, with Oak Haven employees. This kind of tells you where they're aligned with our organization. So we had 90 days to spend with them, and then we score ourselves. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really care where the score is. What I care is what do I need to work on? Where needs to be my focus, and that is. So this kind of tells you 4.35 and our heart values. Do you know what our heart values are? Everybody know what our core values are? No? It's called HEART. The acronym is HEART. Honesty, excellence, accountability, respect, and teamwork. That's the core values of our organization. I share that because on Friday, I will do 2 town halls with the employees. Every quarter, I sit here with you on a monthly basis. I go and chat with them for an hour on a quarterly basis and give them a very similar update. And that's the first thing we focus on. They all get up, they all recite the mission statement, and we go through our core values. We hammer that home because if you don't get that, you don't get the rest of us. So, HEART. Next chat in May, there will be a quiz. Okay. Cultural alignment, 3.96. Transition support, 3.54. Belonging, the feeling of belonging, 3.88. And 3.96 for engagement. So some of these scores are the overall 7.32. Now, I will point this out to you. You don't have to point it out to me because I know you think I'm clueless when it comes to staffing and compensation. that I don't have my finger on the pulse of what we should be paying our employees. Now, here's my philosophy. I can pay our employees whatever you want me to pay them. Because you know who's paying for it? Yeah. All right. That didn't take long for that to all, you get that, right? You're paying for it. So I'll pay them whatever you want me to pay them. As long as you know who's paying for it. Now, I'm a kind of guy where I want to make sure I stay competitive in the market. For certain positions, we want to pay in the upper quartiles. Other positions, we can slide down a little bit, but we like to stay right in there. And so if there's an organization that moves into town, say like Pam Health, that starts offering RNs $50 an hour and starts stealing RNs from our healthcare, what do we need to do? We need to look at what we can do to move our RN salaries up. Now, are you guys okay if I pay RNs $50 an hour? I know I don't expect you to be able to answer because you don't know what the market bears. But I'm going to tell you, that's way above market. But I can pay that if you want. But for each position, what we do is we do an analysis of wages, we do analysis of the local market, the regional market, and then the state of Florida. And then we kind of compare ourselves nationally to other communities that are like kind to us. Now, we are healthcare heavy. We have a 150-bed skilled nursing center. Most communities our size will have a health center half that size. And those who haven't, what they've done is they've probably even decreased the size of their community, their health center even more. And they've probably made it 60 beds. I am not buying into that logic just yet. Because you just saw what the occupancy at Majestic Oaks is. What's the beauty about that? A lot of those people come from outside of John Knox that are payers that come in and they help us control your increase in your monthly service fees. So while I'm taking people from the outside, the purpose, take care of people who need it. The benefit, it helps me control the increase in your monthly service fees. That's how it works. So, there'll be a quiz on that next time too. I'm teasing, you know I'm teasing. Team dynamics, and then the polarized sentiment. We had one person said JKV is great, and then somebody else said everything is horrible. So, now, somebody after 3 months said everything is horrible. We have to take that in the same context we took as JKV is great. We need to investigate to find out why they feel things are horrible. So that's where we'll be spending some of our time. But we sent a survey out, we got 26 out of 48 people to respond. This is the very same thing, just kind of put into a little bit different format. MA is mergers and acquisition benchmark, so you can see what the benchmark is, what the national healthcare is, and then what our score is, 396, with a range of 3.7 to 3.9. You can go down there. So we've identified these issues ourselves. And that's what we'll be focusing our attention on. This is part of us keeping you informed on what we're doing at Oak Haven and what's going on. Is it what we expected? Yeah, it is what we expected. Is it been a little bit more tedious and hard? Yeah. But we will get there. All right, fun stuff. When you think I don't save you money, all this does is break down this is our 2026 workers' comp premiums. This is just to kind of let you know we do everything we can to save $1. Now, for those of you who are old and remember Mike Ditka, he was a coach of the Chicago Bears. You remember what he said about the owner? Mike McCaskey. I love this quote. He throws nickels around like they're manhole covers. I love that. I love that. I'm not quite that bad, but close. If I can find a way to save money, if we can improve on our performance, this is just to help you understand what our mod rating, an average mod rating is 1.0, where ours is at 0.73. We're 27% below the national average. Why our premium should be about $281,000. Those are some of the things, like increased limits, that was an add-on. But safety credit, drug-free credit, experience mod, and premium discount all reduce that amount. And then the little Terrorism Act is a 1% increase. So we will be paying about $177,000 this year. What's the other great thing about this is our partner in our workers' comp, since we just ended our year, as long as we don't have anything that shows up on that screen, they will give us a return of premium based upon our mod rating. Now, to me, that's just good business. If we get it, great. If we don't, well, we'll just try harder next year. Now, why are these numbers significant? You know what we should be paying? We should be paying a premium in excess of $400,000 a year. That's what our mod rating is. So when you see employees and they're wearing the non-slip shoes, we make them return to work and do light duty in laundry, folding laundry, because we want them back at work. Those are some of the things that we do, and our employees have embraced that. I'm very proud of our employees that they understand the process, they understand the culture. We want you well, we want you doing what we need you to do. We don't want you home watching Morgan & Morgan commercials. All right, clinical update. These are some of this is outpatient therapy. They had 46 therapy visits, 22 occupational, 3 speech therapy. So 65% of the visits were 65% of the total. Therapy screens, this is just kind of fun little breakdown. They did 3 screens at Oakview Suites. We have outpatient screen people who fall in assisted living. That is our policy. Why? Because if we can stop them from falling again, we want to do everything we can to make sure that stops. Do you realize that we have more falls in independent living than we do anywhere else on campus? So, I'm not saying you have to point out your neighbor, but you might want to share with their neighbor, saying, hey, if you fall, we're not going to throw you under the bus and send you to Majestic Oaks. We just want to get you stronger. There's some people, obviously, that have taken us up on that. And I can tell you, it happens to everybody. If you know anything about aging, just go to YouTube, spend 15 minutes, listen to one of the doctors talk about your core muscles and how weak your core muscles go. So, have I preached on that enough? I can go longer. So please, so we screen people that fall in assisted living. The reason being is we don't want them to fall again. We're going to do everything we can so they don't. We also worked in memory support. We will be screening them also when they fall. And look at the box on the right, our community focus. We still want to continue to expand services to independent living. You know, the stronger you remain, the more independent you remain. It's an easy equation. Okay, home health, 31 skilled patients, 264 skilled visits, 65 private duty census. This is just kind of the breakdown of PTA on those 84 visits. RN was 70, CODA 52. So this is home health. This is where I want to spend a little bit of time. We just talked about this. Remember, we talked about PCAs, personal care assistants, that we created our own little staffing pool. We've hired people, we put them through, had them become PCAs. Now what we want to do is we're going to use between CareerSource and Dwyer Workforce Development, which we have an agreement with both of these organizations, can help us create a CNA pathway. We can go ahead, by law, we have to pay, we pay somebody at least, actually, no, we're not required to pay them $15 an hour until September of this year. However, we already pay our employees at or above minimum wage. So this is somebody who can go ahead and become a CNA, and the next step is, hey, I can go to school, I can become a nurse, because we have the employee scholarship. We have the employee scholarship. Guess what we have? The employee scholarship. I mentioned it 3 times. But this is help our employees create a better condition that they can live in, improve their life. Why do we want to do that? If we can create a career and a lifestyle for our employees, they're more likely to stay close to home. 85% of Orange County commutes to Orlando for their work. I'll say that again. 85% of Orange City commutes to Orlando for their work. If we can create a career, a good career, something maybe like Vicki Stein has had, we can keep employees. We can continue with that culture. That is the whole part of our focus in doing this. We have agreements with these. And these organizations will educate them for us for free or very little money. Again, leveraging our resources in Volusia County to be able to continue. Because if you can imagine, are we going to get any smaller than we currently are? No. The math doesn't work that way. So we want to make sure that we create a career path and we can keep employees on that career path by continuing to challenge them. And it happens. It happened in my family. My daughter went from a CNA and then became a nurse. And she's an RN. She currently works at Orlando Health in the burn trauma unit. And she's like, Dad, I do feel like I owe John Knox something. I do want to come back and I do want to work. That's her. There are many other people that are very similar. Oak Haven, these are competency fairs. This is something that we do when we're expecting survey or we've identified problems with things. What we do is we do a whole series of competency fairs. These happen to be on assisted devices, transfer techniques, dementia care, elopement and prevention, infection prevention, and food safety. Your first thing is, Joe, these people are in healthcare, they should know all these. You're right, but they don't know our policies. They don't know the way we do it, and we do things slightly different. We specifically have a no-lift policy. That means if you fall in your home, we're not sending anybody over there to go ahead and pick you up. A nurse will evaluate you first to make sure nothing's broken, and if you do fall, please call the nurse so you can be evaluated. Just don't have your neighbor pick you up. While there's a very small possibility that it happens, it has happened. So this is just to get them to know our policies. The clinic had 174 visits. This is the breakdown of their visits. They had 133 visits, follow-ups, patients, and wellness, and 6 visits, 8 new patients. Majestic Oaks, they got their parking lot done. And in fact, as you know, most of the repaving is done. They continue to have a family council on Monday, the third Monday at 3 p.m. And they started a new program. They submitted a grant and were approved from a grant from the Java Group programs, which is to combat loneliness in seniors living settings with music, memory, mentorship, activities, and socialization. So they're in a process of training staff, and it's a research-based grant. So we'll be putting together those numbers. We'll be happy to share what we find out about that. And then they continue to prepare for an unannounced visit from Agency for Healthcare Administration. Oakview Suites is there. They too are waiting for their biannual licensure from Agency for Healthcare Administration. They've had Jesse's Dance Club, Butterfly Lady, and performances by Bruce and John L. They continue to prepare for survey, and their occupancy, if it's not full, they have quite the wait list. So if you're looking to try to get in at Oakview Suites, my recommendation is get on the list. And let me just take care of this while I'm here. Please understand, you have first right. We always give John Knox Village residents first right at Oakview Suites. Now, some of you have been a little stubborn, which has caused us, if we just leave all those rooms empty, then we have empty rooms and you don't have any revenue coming in. And then you have to reduce your staffing, and then you don't have staff when you do raise your occupancy. So please don't think, because we put you on a wait list, that you're behind somebody that lives out in the community. You're not. We will explain it to the people out in the community. Our philosophy is membership has its privileges. Your membership has the privilege of being first in line for Oakview or Oak Haven or Majestic Oaks. However, sometimes while you delay, we will fill that room with somebody to continue to have revenue generation. And I know that makes sense to all of you, because you do the same thing. Oak Haven residents are excited about the official new name. That name was by far, and I showed you that, by far the #1 name. They are fully staffed. They work on a schedule program called Book Jane. We may be looking at replacing that in the near future. And any residents are welcome to go over there and take a tour if you would like. Please call extension 4000 if you want to do that. Wellness liaison, Sarah has picked up just where Amanda left off. They are rocking and rolling, and they're doing an incredible job. And so we are thrilled about that. The digital drop-in, that too has gone over extremely well. We're thrilled about that. Campus services, you know this stuff is coming out. This is what we tried to do, is just kind of change it, make it a little bit more pleasing to your eye versus black bold writing on a white background. So May 2nd at 5 p.m. is the Kentucky Derby. Be there. Aloha. Isn't it mint juleps that they serve? And the alternate drink is Old Fashions. Just kidding. Ladies' luncheon on the 6th. Mother's Day tea party on the 11th. Evening of celebration. Sock hop. There is one in here. I don't think I necessarily, and it might be in the next. Chef's Cook-Off is on the 27th at 4:30. And then here is, we broke this down. Those were themed meals. These are resident services events. I have the sock hop here. I don't have a time, but I know Candace will put that time in there, and that's what's coming. But you'll notice that many of these are at 7 p.m. There's a couple that are at 3. And then fitness events, the 2nd annual JKV Fitness Triathlon. Anybody participating in that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, good for you. I'll watch you. All right, men's fitness class. We've been experimenting with doing a few different things, and I've really asked for men's fitness. So guys, you have no excuse. So please, I'd love that to go over. I'd love to have to add more staff, because men are working out and women are working out. And then for those who want to do that, the hula hoop fitness class. Color me skeptical. All right. Anthony has been doing a phenomenal job for us. I couldn't be more pleased. He's kind of going, he's identified some issues, he's going back to the roots, he's identifying things, and these are his points of focus. So I know last month we chatted about a few things: consistent recipes, consistent food quality, and consistent service. This is his plan. This is just kind of a little bit of the getting in the weeds, so to speak. Each dish will be checked, both visually and tasting, before leaving the kitchen. Now, I was going to ask him if he's taking it off the resident plate, but... So if you get a little piece, a corner taken off your salmon, I want to know that. Our new POS system and our new meal plan, what we've done is we've gone to a program called Meal Suite that will help us track what meals you're really eating. We've talked about this before. You know how difficult it is to manage 84 plus entrees on a daily basis? It is kind of tough, especially so we just throw those out there and hope that we get everybody to like something. And while some of you say, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, all good. But we want to know, what are you actually eating? If it's chicken piccata, and here's the fun thing about this. Stan can't stand chicken piccata. So every example I ever give is chicken piccata. So when you see Stan, say, hey Stan, how's the chicken piccata? I'll know if he's watched this because he'll be at my office really quick. But please, so Anthony's kind of broken things down. I think this is what you were asking for. We listened. We thought that position was critical for us moving forward. We agreed with you. That's why we created that position, only over dining services, nothing else, just dining services. And so we expect some really good things from Anthony and the cooks and the chefs. And the one thing he's really started doing is creating a good teamwork among the cooks, the sous chefs, and the kitchen staff. And Dem, what can you say about Dem? What an incredible woman. She does very good work. So this is how easy my job is. I had to make one call. On Vicky's party, I had to make one call. Actually, what I did is I sent an email. I sent an email to Candace and to Dem. They talked to each other, sent me an email. Joe, don't worry about it, we got it. And didn't they do a phenomenal job for Vicky yesterday? So, holding a vendors accountable. Now, you hold us accountable if you get a bad piece of product, whether it's chicken or steak or whatever the case may be. We haven't necessarily been doing such a very good job of holding our vendor accountable for that poor piece of chicken, steak, salmon, whatever the case may be. So he's going to do a constant sampling of products and making sure that the product is what they say there's going to be. And I'm going to tell you, man, in fact, I'm supposed to meet with him at 11. He is all over vendors. So I support his method. Service aspects for culinary, act like a professional. You saw these kind of put them all in different uniforms. He's kind of tried to make them a little bit more professional. He's addressing, correcting behaviors as he can. Stands behind you if you want to ask him about chicken piccata. But this whole process will help us evaluate people that are going to fit our culture and people who don't fit our culture. We want to create as much professionalism as we possibly can, because that's what you deserve and that's what you're paying for. All right. Anybody going to be surprised? We want to take bets? Anybody want to say? Can you tell me what the overall score was for survey stands? 97? Oh, that's pretty safe. Overall, 97. Now, see, if you'd been 98, I would have given you full credit. Because you would have rounded up for me, and I would have been cool. Overall, 97.93. Cranes, 97.79. Oak Tree Grill, 98.11. I am not really sure what happened in March, because as I was going through the numbers and breaking them down, the grill had far more, as a percentage, had far more excellent ratings than they typically have on fewer surveys. Now, if you want to geek out with me on this, I'm happy to share. I didn't think you would. But this is the kind of stuff I look at. I mean, there's fewer surveys, but far more excellent. And that's why the grill, you saw the grill pop up. This is the trend line. This is just for Cranes. We started it in April, and you see it started out below 94. It's currently in excess of 97, plus really almost 97 or 98. You can see that July was a nice spike. November was a wonderful spike. We got down a little bit, and then the last 3 months, when we got a VP of Culinary Services, it's been trending upward. Coincidence? We'll watch it. Grill. Now, this is kind of wild because the grill was, in December, was in excess of almost 99%. It was at 98.80. We had to make the measurements so much closer. But that too is trending nicely. But when you're at 98.8 and you drop to 98.2, is that statistically different? I don't think so. That line just magnifies the difference. It's not even a full point drop. And then those are what they look like together. We know we're not going to be able to hit 1.01, but it's nice to dream. So good things. I'm happy with the direction this is going. I'm happy with the direction that Anthony is taking on a number of initiatives. So we're thrilled. Mark, work orders. Just when you think they were sitting around doing nothing. 9,674 work orders January through March, with a completion rate of almost 87%, with an average response time of 3.3 days. I know his goal is to kind of see if he can't get it under 72 hours and closer to 48 hours. But if you put a work order in on Friday, Saturday and Sunday count against him. So we kind of take that into account. This is where the work orders are. Grounds had 1,702 with 73.2% done. That is below our standards, so we're working to see what we can do for that. You'll see some numbers in red, some numbers in green, and the ones in red are the ones that we're attempting to address. Because if you're special services, you're at 94%, plumbing 96%, HVAC almost 98%. Now, I am sure some of you have a story that said that your HVAC went out on a Friday night at 11 o'clock and they didn't get to it until Monday. Yeah, I understand, and when it's hot, we understand that. Why we try to make temporary arrangements, and that could even include, if we can't fix it even on a temporary basis, asking you if you want to relocate. You know how many of you want to relocate due to air conditioning issues? The number is zero. We offer it, but the number is 0. This is just kind of some of the stuff that he's done during the month of March. You can continue with leaf cleanup. And this is April. They're going to complete the hard freeze damage pruning. I know I've lost 10 shrubs that I have to replace. And as we warned you, it seems to have come to fruition. Getting plants to transplant is becoming next to impossible. Vicki just, and I can share this with you because I'll share a Vicki story. She had a number of things that froze and were destroyed, and she was quick out of the gate to have it done. And she's still waiting to have it finished up. I know they just had some shrubs in the last week or so that she had come in, but she's been waiting in excess of 8 weeks to get it done. And then we'll start hurricane pruning, and we'll start putting in tree replacements. Some of our challenges: winter stress caused delay in spring turf recovery, irrigation limitations and freeze damage in Valencia Landing and Pro Vista, slower lateral vertical growth habit. They're getting their hands around that. And I watch it also. That's just kind of what the plan is. In May, they'll put down the second liquid fertilizer. And then in May, they'll put down a granular fertilizer with an 80% slow release for nitrogen. And the project's update. Apartments currently working in the Bay to be completed, to complete all hallways. Upon completion, the team will return to the Bay dining room to repaint the Bay dining room. Common hallways, the flooring and the wall renovation will commence following the completion of the apartment hallways. The next phase of the interior renovation, the paving project, they're just working through some punch list items on that. Turf and grounds, this is long-term strategy. What they're going to do, maintain optimal irrigation. That is a big job. Perform aeration, monitor the turf performance, and then introduce some shade trees to heat-stressed areas. See if we can't cut down on chinch bugs. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
The name tags now are not stick because of the lanyards, but when you have a group of people coming in, they don't have lanyards, and the name tags don't stick, so nobody's wearing them. My recommendation is have it stickable so that short-term people wear something, and then it still can go in the lanyard the way it should.
Okay. Are you referring to visitors?
Yes, people that come in, and like if they come to dinner, they're not going to wear a lanyard. They've got a sticker. They've got if it's stuck, they could put it on for 2 hours.
Okay.
But to carry, if you've got 10 people coming from a group or something, then nobody has a name tag on.
Okay. Anything else? I'm going to let you let me off easy then. Thank you for coming. We hope you have a blessed weekend, and we will see you real soon. All right? Have a great day.